Welcome to yet another episode of the Linda Ogweno Political Show. In this show, we purpose to bring better governance to Kenya by training political aspirants on politics and political processes. Today, we are continuing with the topic where we were looking at what are the things that you get to consider before joining a political party. Before I get to the details of it, allow me to appreciate Women United for Our Future for the role and support that they have given us towards the production of this particular show. So the other thing that you want to look at and consider before joining a political party is who is the party leader. There are different party leaders within a political party. They could be at the national level, at the grassroots level, at the world level. You want to consider all these leaders. So at the national level, you want to look at who is the political party leader. What have they been standing for? What have they been advocating for? What are they known for? Remember, if you're going to be part of that political party, time without number, you will find yourself defending that political leader. Again, you want to come and look at the grassroots level. Who are the political party leaders? For example, if a political party is going to give tickets based on political polls, then chances are very high that they are going to call the grassroots leaders for them to find out within that region who is the most popular candidate. And above that, you just want to make sure that you have acquainted yourself with these grassroots leaders so that they know, because all these leaders also have their following. So once you have made your candidature known to them, they are able also to market you and to just talk about your candidature to other spaces. But at the national level, you also want to look at within that political party, the National Governing Council. Considering you're the candidate, you also want to look at the National Elections and Nominations Board of that particular political party. If they have held elections before, you want to know who are the officials in that board in the last election, how did it go, and you want to compare that before you make your decision. Another thing you want to look at is you want to consider the party reputation and public perception. As I have mentioned, you want to check in the last election, how did this political party behave? What are they known for? You find that some political parties in Kenya are known for very violent nomination processes. So if that is the case, then you want to decide if you're going to use that political party, and you may want to prepare and know how you're going to mitigate the violent risk that you get to face. How, in the area where you come from, how is that political party known for? Again, you find that there's still political parties are meant to comply with ORPP and even regulations of IEBC. So what is their reputation? Is that political party, do they have like a legal case that is going against them? Has IEBC, for example, penalized them for a misconduct for one reason or another? That is the other thing you want to find. Remember that the image of the political party affects your image as a candidate as well. The other thing that you want to find out is you evaluate the party's strength in your area. You know that political parties have different strengths in different regions. In a certain region, you may have political X that does not even, political party X that does not need any introduction. You mention it and everybody knows it. Yet, when you mention another political party, nobody knows about it. And so you'll find yourself as a candidate, if you're using that political party that nobody knows, apart from marketing yourself, you will have to be marketing that political party as well. You also want to find out in that ethnical region, you find that a particular party sometimes is associated with a particular community. In as much as political parties are supposed to be everywhere within the country, but some parties are associated with a particular tribe. So find out those details and make sure you are comfortable before deciding which route you're going to use as far as a political party is concerned. You also want to look at the performance of that political party in the last election. How did it perform in your area? How many people got elected through that political party? How many people were nominated through that political party? And how was that process? Was the nomination process free and fair? Or was it filled with so many complaints? You may want to look for other aspirants who had vied in the last election and find out what is their opinion, what experiences did they have using the route of that political party. I'd like to make a disclaimer at this particular point. Political parties in Kenya are made based on self-interest, and you will find that people come together just for the sake of that election. So when you're looking at that political party and how it performed in the last election, you can find in the last election it was very, very popular. But that may not be the case in the coming election, just because times change. And as I've said, political parties in Kenya, people just come together because they want to win elections. After that, it's another story for another day. The other thing you want to look into before joining a political party, you want to examine the party nomination process. Yes, I'm talking about which were the different routes that that political party is going to use. And I had mentioned that in the last episode. Please take a minute or two and check the other episode so that you are well informed on all these things that you can look at. But I'm talking about the amount of money that you need to pay that political party. You find that for your candidature, political parties usually, some of them require you to pay an amount, and some of them are absolutely free. So if they require you to repay that amount, how much is that amount? And have you budgeted for it? You need to include that in your campaign budget. So for example, if the gubernatorial race, that political party is asking, for example, 500,000, you want to have this 500,000 and to be able to raise it. You find in some political parties, they waiver or they put a lower figure for women, youth, and persons who are able differently. You find the same example that I was using. If the male counterparts are paying 500,000, you can find that women are expected to pay 250,000. Young people are expected to pay 250,000, and the same applies to people who are able differently. So, know in that political party that amount, and as I've said, budget for it. But for some political party, that is absolutely free. So that may also affect the route that you get to take if you do not have or you cannot raise the money that is required in the other political party. You want to find out the party primaries that were held. How were they? Were they free and fair? And how is that going to affect your candidature? The other thing that you want to find out is you want to check the opportunities for support and resources within that political party. You find that in some political party, they hold even training for aspirants. And training is very, very important, and that is why we even created this show. But and some political parties do not offer that, so you want to find out if that is there. Another thing, you find out that there's even branding support. For example, if that political party is coming to your area, they could give you merchandise in terms of t-shirts, capes that you are supposed to give your supporters as well. So that will help you. You find that within a political party, sometimes you campaign together. The candidate that is going for the gubernatorial race teams up with the one who's going for the senatorial race, the women race, the MCA race. So together, the cost of that particular campaign becomes very bearable. And sometimes you may end up, even maybe you're going for an MCA position, you may not even be able to, you may not spend in that particular case. So find out, are those things that are there within that political space, do they have support? Sometimes when people are going for a meeting at the national level, you find that in the political parties, you use your resources to travel there for your accommodation and for your meals. While in other political parties, these candidates get support when it comes to this. So just do your homework and know the political party you're going to use, what do they do when it comes to their candidates. Some political parties offer legal representation on behalf of their candidates. You may get in trouble for one reason or another. Does the party have those avenues where it is able to support you? Some political parties also send candidates on their behalf to go represent them for media interviews and just to appear in TV. And you see, that's very important for you as a candidate because it's going to offer you marketing. You find that political parties, they also nominate people. So you want to find out how was that done in the last election. But for the people who vied as aspirants but have not gotten the opportunity to be nominated, how are they absorbed within that political party? For the other opportunities that may arise within that political party or even out of that political party, but which is within their jurisdiction, how do they get to allocate these? So those are some of the support that is within a political party. And we're talking about general welfare. Find out, like, God forbid you could pass or die when you are an aspirant. What is the laid down procedure that that political party has? How is it going to take care of you? You may just want to find out those things. The other thing that you want to look at before joining a political party You want to look at international associations and organizations that are affiliated to that political party. As I had mentioned in the episode where we talked about the ideologies of a political party, you find that some political party, their ideology matches that of an international organization or a political party in another country. So if that is the case, then you just want to know and see if that aligns to yours as an individual candidate. And that also affects funding. So political parties get funding from international organization and international parties. So if you're within that political party, you'll find that maybe if you have a function that is aligned to their ideology, then you can relate to that. Maybe I give an example. You find like there's the Communist Party, and then there's also the Green Party. So if you have an activity that is aligned to that, they can fund it. Again, there's always opportunities to travel and network. That party may invite your party to go to their country because you have the same ideology, or they can come to your country as well, and that is an opportunity to just network. So find out if that political party has those opportunities, and if that appeals to you, then you can take advantage of such kind of associations. As I wind up, I'd want to make an appeal to political parties in Kenya. You find that campaigning in Kenya is a very rigorous exercise, and many candidates get tired and exhausted, and their mental health becomes very it gets challenged. And so I want to appeal to political parties to put in place mechanisms where candidates are able to tap onto the mental health space and are able to get help. You find that sometimes you are very strained, you're very stressed, and you have undergone something that is very traumatizing for you as a political candidate. Yet you may not have the resources to hire a counselor, or you may not even know where to go. So, as a political parties, if you could open your spaces and also offer this support to your candidates as well, because it is very important that a candidate is at their best position. Of course, we will tackle the topic where we get to talk about mental health for candidates. And yes, it's important for you as a candidate to take care of your own mental health. But if you find yourself in a situation where you are really overwhelmed, this is where I'm appealing to political parties to create that space where candidates are able to tap onto that. You will find, in my opinion, that maybe more than your political candidates will need this particular support. And I'm also appealing to ORPP by extension to also put pressure on political parties so that they are able to offer this, so that as candidates can be able to have their mental health challenges addressed. You find that we have had political candidates who have lost it either in the campaign trail, they have just given up because of what they are going through. Some have even died after election just because it is overwhelming. The political campaign arena can be overwhelming. So please, to ORPP, when you're doing your review, kindly put in pressure to political parties so that they are able to offer this support to their candidates and anybody else who may want this support. As I bring this to a closure, I'd want to implore you that before choosing a political party, really go through and think through and do your research. Ask friends. Do your research very well. This is a make or break decision, so that by the time you're deciding the route you're taking, you're very solid in your decision. If you have watched till this particular time and if you like the content of this particular episode, I want to ask you to like, to subscribe, and to invite other aspirants to come and watch this episode as well. And in case you're supporting an aspirant, invite them to come and watch this episode and this show so that together we can be able to grow. Thank you for watching and be on the lookout for the next episode of the Linda Ogweno Political Show. Bye bye.